Hello, and welcome to a brand new day of free-to-play here on Magic the Gathering Arena. Get the dish on the latest with me, Lord Rumfish. Today we are going to be playing equipment. So, just going to do a quick deck tech here. I'm calling it tapped Crowbars. The Citizen's Crowbar is the crowbar in question. And I'm trying out 4 Warlord's Elite, because equipment does not care whether it's tapped or untapped. So, this is a pretty straightforward deck, right? Not too many fancy tricks here. The interaction of the deck got some Flameblessed Bolt, an Ossification. The most obvious one is Rebel Salvo. Right, in this deck, it's generally going to be 1 mana to cast this spell. And then all of our creatures mostly take the form of equipment. Right, so Citizen's Crowbar came out in Streets of New Capenna, and this is a very sound card all the way around, right? You put out 2 permanents. You make the green-white Citizen a 2/2, and the equipped creature always has the ability white and tap, sack the Crowbar to destroy an artifact or enchantment. That doesn't tap the Crowbar, that taps the creature. And it equips around for 2 to give +1/+1. So having artifact enchantment removal in the format is pretty relevant. And yeah, this can also just float around as a +1 bonus, just a decent chunk of equipment. Barbed Batterfist makes a 3/1, has one of the cheaper equip costs in the deck. So you can give a power boost to anything that won't die from it. Hexgold Halberd, just a very solid 2-drop, gives an equipped creature first strike and trample on your turn only. Got a copy of Kadeen. So this is a pretty budget version of this deck. I just kind of went with whatever I had in my collection. Right, I would definitely... We'll talk about how to bling it out a little bit at the end, but... happen to have a copy of Kadeen, so I'm going to use him. He can draw you cards. He also gets a big boost for the number of equipped creatures you control when he attacks. And as a trampler, that means he's pretty dangerous. 1 Thran power suit here. You know, if you're going to have 3 pieces of equipment on one thing, at that point you might as well be looking at the Thran power suit. It gives Ward 2, it gives +1/+1 for every thing you have attached to that creature. So, I don't know how great this card is, but I think 1 copy in this deck is just fine. Goldwarden's Helm makes a 2/3 critter, and you can move it around for a toughness boost. Loran, I think this is one of the better white cards in Standard at the moment, just because there are so many artifacts and enchantments just running completely wild in the format, unanswered. You can start just running this in all of your white decks, and it will pretty much always have a target. Forever. The end. You don't necessarily need more than 1, she's legendary. Warlord's Elite, as I said, equipment does not care if it gets tapped. You've got free permanents floating around that you can tap. You also are making an equipment and a creature, so you're putting out, multiples of permanents. It's just not as hard to cast the Warlord's Elite in this deck. We're going to get a chance to try it out here. Rebel Salvo, great piece of removal, especially in this deck. Kills most things that you pointed out. Bladehold War-Whip. This makes your other equip cost less, which is very nice. And this hands out double strike. Hexgold Hoverwings acts like an anthem effect in this deck. It gives all creatures that are equipped +1/+0. And this particular equipment gives the thing it's on flying. So, getting the second one of this out gives +2/+0 for your equipped creatures. Got a Volshock Splitter, a Mirran Bardiche, and you probably have a copy of Danitha. because I do. I think it comes in one of the intro decks. Danitha is a pretty solid creature on her own, and then she can take an equipment card from your hand or graveyard and put it onto the battlefield attached to her. So one equipment that you might have in your graveyard is the Citizen's Crowbar. Alright, you can actually sacrifice it to blow up an artifact or enchantment. So that's something you can pull back for value with Danitha. Or she could pull down something that's expensive to get onto the battlefield, like the Bardiche, Hoverwings, or the Splitter, and just equip it right up. And you should still get the Rebel token when that happens. Alright, so we've got Eiganjo and Sokenzan. If you followed me on the land crafting guide, you'll have these as well. Happen to have a Battlefield Forge, running a couple of Sacred Peak. I happen to have 3 Sundown Pass. You should have at least 2 of this card from the intro decks. And 4 Wind-Scarred Crag, just trying to make sure that the mana is good. So that's pretty much the deck. Since there's not a lot of 1-drops, dropping a tapped land on one's not the end of the world. And with that being said, let's get in there and play some games. Up against Feanar. Sulphur Springs. Put out a painful rabbit pit. Wind-Scarred Crag. Gain that life. So we can do Crowbar, tap land, have Salvo open. Seems pretty reasonable. Another untapped land. Let's go ahead and get the Crowbar down. I suppose I could also hold Eiganjo open. No attacks. Post-combat Stormseeker. That's weird. Okay then. During this Goldwarden's home, we go ahead and play it. Go for the throat on the citizen. Sure. Okay. Alright, no blocks. Okay, let's see. So I think it's worth it for the untapped mana here. Play the Bladehold War-Whip. And actually I could go ahead and equip up the Citizen's Crowbar. Sure. Might have been smarter to leave the Rebel Salvo open. It's very likely they have a removal spell. Drop you, kill you. Hoverwings. And then Bright. Okay, so we're very close to dead, but the opponent is also under a lot of pressure. Stormslinger, I'll be happy to kill those off. Sure. So let's see. They're just dead, right? They just left themselves dead. Yep. Quick update, I'm going to add an Ossification here. I'm going to drop the Volshock Splitter. Up against Raffen Hadelis. Yeah, this hand looks alright. Mono! Gain life. Go Halberd or Crowbar here. I think I'll go Crowbar. Scamp and an etching from the opponent. So I can go Halberd and have Salvo open as well. That's kind of nice. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Well, that's a weird inclusion. I thought you were an aggressive deck. Oh yeah. We take blocks here. Kind of surprised they didn't attack with the Scam. Alright. Sundown Pass, Hexgold Halberd. In the turn. Yeah. Ping from the stance. Fable does its thing. It's very strange inclusion for a red deck. Makes it more of a mid-range deck. They discard nothing. They play a mountain. They must want a fourth mountain. Here is a Swift Spear. Reckless Impulse? Sure. They get a Bloodthirsty Adversary and Chandra Dressed to Kill. That's a little awkward. They can get them both down next turn, but they can't, do the kicker on the adversary. Let's see. Probably go ahead and kill this Swift Spear. Just get rid of it. Be done with you. Choose not to attack. It's a little wild. Okay, gain a life. Get a 4/4. Tap the Halberd and the Crowbar. Go attack here. Now, reflection could become a problem, but the crowbar can blow it up.
Whoa! I've never crashed a wedding like this before.
Make mana, cast your adversary.
You're lucky this is a warning shot.
Another mountain. You could have chosen to discard some of those. At least one. Coming in. Okay. Kill the treasure maker. Okay. And coming in on Chandra. Make the block. That makes it easier for me. Alright, I got 4 mana here. Batterfist and Halberd. Sure, strangle a rebel. This game has a lot of oil on it. Chandra pluses, they get a mountain. Which they can't actually use with their mountain. Squeak! Okay, I'll definitely block and kill a squeak. For sure. Okay. Let's see. Put the crowbar on the elite. Makes me 5/5. Big enough to threaten to kill Chandra in one blow. Scamp takes the block. Pings me for 1. Dead Scamp. Play a Hexgold Halberd. Here go.
Come on,
Chandra. Get to play with
think
fire.
of something good.
Okay, swift speed. You can play with fire a rebel. Pick any of them. Or you could go for my face, jump block with that swift spear next turn. Okay. So I think I go like Hexgold Halberd on the elite, Batterfist on the elite, come in to kill Chandra. First strike, trample. What do you got?
You're just never gonna learn, are ya?
Jump with a squee, because they can try to get him back. Make Nano with a Chandra.
Give a toast? I'd love to.
Squee, exile some stuff. What did they exile? Not much. What they leave down there? Not much. Okay. So I think I'll go for the Hoverwings this time. Elite, kill the Chandra, and you two start killing the opponent's face.
back out.
Yeah, it didn't quite have lethal there. Sure, you can strangle the token, but the Hoverwings are still there. Hoverwings are 3 to equip, so I can play the Crowbar and equip the Hoverwings. Okay, their only thing for Loran to blow up is their treasure. So... let's go ahead and get in here. Okay, up against Brianok. Briannic. His hand looks okay. Okay, we're up against budget soldiers. Guardian. Go ahead and get down this Hexgold Halberd. Hey, veteran. In that case, I'm not blocked. Music seems a little messed up. Might try to restart the game when I get to the next player. So I think I'm actually going to play the Warlord's Elite next turn. Turn after that I can drop Thran Power Suit and a 1-mana Rebel Salvo. Let's see if the opponent is still here. They have the activated ability on the Guardian there, which is holding priority as a stick. Seems like they might have timed out. Which is too bad. I feel like Warlord's Elite, maybe it gets taken by, Brutal Cathar. But this Yoshin Tactician tells me they're at least somewhat of a budget version of the deck. So they might not have a bunch of Brutal Cathars. And I could burn out a Brutal Cathar and get the Elite back, and that would be potentially devastating on their combat step. Briannic, are you there? Brian OK. We are dying to know. Actually, we are winning to know. If you time out, I will only win the game. I feel like I have a decent matchup against you. Come back. I'm curious to play it out. Oh well. Okay, up against Crim. Get down the Sundown Pass, so I don't have to take damage from the Battlefield Forge. Let's lead on the Batterfist. Well, if they have removal, it's either way. If they don't have removal, this is the more threatening card. Faster clock. They say go. So, Sundown Pass. Go ahead and come in for an attack. Maybe they'll go for the throat the little rebel token. Okay, well, they're probably going to kill this token instead, but it's good to be mana efficient here. I've got, you know, a pair of 2s that I can play next turn. Huh, they didn't kill it end of turn. Oh, malicious malfunction. Okay, okay. That's fine. So, get down a Halberd, down a Crowbar. And go ahead and stick this on the one that'll have first strike when it's attacking. Shoulder, that's a good thing to ossify. So. Farewell to Shoulderids. 5. Play Goldwarden's Helm. Got enough mana to re-equip the War-Whip now. Which is good enough to attack through a shoulder. And I think that's the play rather than Loran. So, coming in for 6. They're willing to make the trade. That's fine. Batterfist on the citizen. Not going to put it on this token because the 3 toughness could dodge another malicious malfunction. And we've got Loran if we see like a Phyrexian Flesh Gorger, or maybe, you know, the one about, oh! March of Wretched Sorrow. Strange. There we go, Reckoner Bankbuster. That's a good thing for Loran to hit. Yeah, Loran is such a useful card in this format. Endlessly nice to have. Let's come in for 4 with the token. And I'll just say go. Okay.
No cost.
Make the vampire.
You
Well,
can deal with my servant.
how about I kill the vampire? Double strike this guy. He kills you, and Loran kills Soren.
Excuse my sudden egress.
Seems pretty good. Excuse my egress. This hand looks okay. Up against Wands. Maybe Juan is asleep. Gain life. Okay, they're on Obscura colors. Or Vesper, if you prefer. Citizens Crowbar, would you like to counterspell? Sure, they would counterspell anything that turn. They just want it out of their hand. Jace Strange.
The weak-minded will be educated in Phyrexia's ways.
They choose to target me with their -2. I also think is a little strange. Well, Jace is on 1 loyalty. I could burn him out now, or I could burn him out later. I think I'll burn him out later.
Become subdued.
Okay, so let's see. I'll double spell here. Barbed Batterfist. Yeah, I'll play a Thran power suit. Would you like to counter it? Nope. Okay. No attacks. You got a Wandering Emperor? Sure.
You started this.
There you go, little Wandering Emperor.
I'll let your blade do the talking. I have got new moves to teach you.
Oh, experimental augury. They're going to proliferate a little bit. Alright. Are you going to use the -2 on Jace again? No, they're going up.
Organic minds are easily quelled.
Tenacious Underdog. Yeah, no blocks. Okay, so I think I play the mana here. I think I play the Hoverwings. I will burn out. Actually, let's just burn out Jace. Let's go ahead and do it. Get rid of him.
In time, all will witness Phyrexia's truth.
See, no attacks. Sure, are you gonna wipe the board or something? Underdog for not much.
May your blade strike
Just to draw a
true.
card. Well, let's see here. If I play the Elite, I could equip it. Maybe with the Thran power suit? I think that might be worth it. Edict doesn't care, but otherwise targeting it is going to cost them mana. Okay, they do have an Edict.
We've got the edge in this fight.
Going to 14 with the underdog. Take us to 11. Ossification. No, I think I go with the Bardiche this turn. Once that token's a 4/4, it'll be a pretty juicy target for Ossification. Could get rid of their Planeswalker, but if I get in a good attack step here, I can kill it.
We must
Or
protect
eat a Samurai,
the people.
that'd be fine too. Cut your losses. Okay, they're trying out some mill cards with Jace, which is interesting. Cut your losses is it's generally no one's been able to find a use for it, right? Even in limited, it couldn't really finish the job well enough to see any play. Okay, no good targets for Loran right at the moment. Go ahead and ossify this token. Get a Thran power suit onto this fella. Get a Batterfist, why not? And he's vigilant. I think I go for their face. So after doing a double cut your losses, I've got 10 cards left. So if they have a Jace, that would be what they didn't have to pay the ward there. So quick, you know, public service announcement for Void Red. The way that ward works
Keep watch for intruders.
is it counters the spell or effect if they don't pay the ward, but Void Red can't be countered. So what they would do there is they would decline. They would decline, and then they would just take out the thing that has the ward anyway. That's how that would function. So, submit 0. Get this Thran power suit on. Keep driving my opponent crazy with Vigilance and Ward. You gotta mill me out. You gotta play your Jace or your whatever and mill me out. If you don't have it, then I'm gonna kill you. Okay, depopulate for 1 critter. They're just
Let
really
your
trying to
blade
find
do
their
the
next mill
talking.
card. And honestly, it needs to be Jace because cut your losses is always rounded down. So it never does the final blow. They need something like Jace that does like a specific number of mill to come in and finish the job. Memory Deluge, they got the mana open, they could play the Jace if they find it here. I have thought about trying to use Cut Your Losses into a Jace mill deck. The Samurai tokens from Wandering Emperor are not a bad outlet for the casualty too. Just thinking there might be something even more clever to use it with though. There's like the, the stupid 2/1 zombie that when it dies you
Remember
find
your
another
training.
zombie. Okay, here's a Hexgold Halberd. First thing to try to equip it with is the ward. Okay, then we'll go ahead and put on whatever else, like the Hoverwings. Make it fly. Another memory deluge. It would be really surprising after double memory deluge if they just don't find, you know, the way to end the game. See, okay. Right, that was like 2 memory delusions.
Is wasted.
They were really struggling to do this. They almost did not get there. Kind of interesting.
I bring war to this group.
So whatever you fill up the rest of the deck with, other than the Jace and the cut your losses, probably be whatever. Right, it doesn't have to be this Esper list. You could find some other way to do it. You could probably do it in mono blue, just fine. Up against CK Chuck 416. Something about their name reminds me of Chuck E. Cheese, which I didn't actually go to much as a child. I've only rarely eaten at a Chuck E. Cheese. Okay, mana's a little iffy here. Lead on the Batterfist. Pilfer. Strange. Well, you can't take what I really need, which is a land. Whatever else you take doesn't so much matter to me. Okay, they take a Hoverwings. Sure. Go ahead and come in. There's Crowbar. Go ahead and play out the card they've seen, so that they start to know less about my hand. Go for the throat on a Rebel token, sure. There's a land. There's a land. Coming with the Citizen. Play a Hexgold Halberd. Okay. And then with both. Guess there's no reason not to try the Warlord's Elite here. Tap a couple of artifacts. Go for blowing up artifacts. That does not stop my creatures, though. Right, so Brotherhood's End is kind of an either-or sort of card against this deck. Right, it doesn't... You can either blow up the critters or you can blow up the equipment. The equipment's probably the right call, but you don't manage to hit all of it. So, anyhow, go ahead and play this Goldwarden's Helm. Get right in there. They're at 8. They also played the Riveteer's Charm, made me sacrifice the 4/4. Bombardment. Funky. Totally funky. Play the Hexgold Hoverwings. I'm in for 6. I mean, they have almost no cards left in hand. They probably have something to trigger the bombardment. No, just scoop it up. Okay. Okay, so my thoughts about this version of the deck, you could probably use a little bit more removal. If you wanted to go up to 3 or 4 Ossification, that would be okay. Or, you know, if you wanted to go a little bit more unconditional with the removal, there's a... So you could try Soul Partition, you could try March of Otherworldly Light. I like Fateful Absence better than those. Fateful Absence is just kind of all-purpose, kills what you need it to kill. Soul Partition is more of a tempo play. You can save your own things with it, though. And it could be really nice if someone tries to blow up a piece of your equipment with a targeted removal. You exile it, recast it, get another Rebel token. That could be very nice. March is a little tricky. There are some matchups where it isn't very good because the opponent's getting things into play with a high mana value. But you do have a lot of white cards in the deck you could exile from your hand to pitch to the March. It wouldn't be the worst. This one doesn't hit Planeswalkers, it does hit artifacts and enchantments, which is nice. So anyway, aside from a little bit more removal, probably a second copy of Kadeen would not go amiss. He's very good if you get him down. I wouldn't want too many because he's legendary. You might go in for the third Bladehold War-Whip, you might go in for the third Hexgold Hoverwings, and cut a couple of the common equipment, like maybe the Bardiche, the Goldwarden's Helm. Right, I've got a super budget version of the deck with this with the commons in here. The Hoverwings is quite nice for its, you know, team boosting effect. And the War-Whip is quite nice for lowering the equip costs. Another card that's a good one for this deck. I mean, if you have a Kimba, you could throw a Kimba in here. This little guy, Ruck, you unlock him off of the Mastery Pass. Once you get up to a certain level, you'll get 4 copies of this. I don't think you would ever want 4 copies, but 1 copy of this in the deck might be hilarious. So as long as this little guy attacks with an equipped creature you control, he can steal all of its equipment. Or if one of your equipped creatures dies, he steals all of its equipment. That's a neat upside. Maybe 1 copy, you know, not 4. I wouldn't go with 4. And finally, there's Astor, Bearer of Blades. So in this deck, Astor draws you an equipment, and he draws you a pretty nice equipment that's also a creature. He lowers your equip costs down to 1 colorless, which I believe, when paired with the War-Whip, would lower it down to 0. The War-Whip does it for other equipment. So if you don't have 2 War-Whips, it would still cost 1 to equip the War-Whip from Astor. If you had 2 War-Whips, though, then all of your equips would be nothing with Astor. And between the card draw and the really cheap equip cost, probably, I would say at least 2 copies of Astor would be really good for this deck. Alright, so I'd look at a second Kadeen, I'd look at about 2 copies of Astor, maybe 1 of the Kimba, and finally up on the top end you can have a copy or 2 of Dragonwing Glider. And it all just depends on how much you love this deck idea and how many rares you have and how many of these cards are in your collection. I did like the Thran Power Suit. Certainly as the one of, I think it was fantastic in this deck. 2 might start to trip you up a little bit because they don't make creatures when they enter the battlefield, but the boost and the ward were very relevant when I got this card down, so I don't think I'd cut this as the 1 copy. But yeah, there you go. That's the deck. I didn't have, you know, the best time on the ladder. I didn't have the worst time either, though. Rebel Salvo came in clutch all the time. And probably more ossifications or just, you know, uncontested, just always works removal as a little bit of what this deck needs. And until next time, stay cool.